So please introduce yourself to our viewers.
I am LittleRedBunny, an independent cam artist since 2009, and that's it. I don't know. I also created my LittleRedBunny Academy as a mentor and consultation also for companies and platforms, or companies are peripheral to the camming as well. And yeah, I help training trainers and helping models to, I don't know, I did different projects with my academy that are related to the industry and helping models in the industry.
How did you start camming?
I use my credit card to buy a laptop and to use a camera, and hoping that it's gonna create enough money. But I thought actually that I would just test it out, and I did not think I would last more than a night. And then I did 3 nights, and then a week, and then I realized I was working 12 hours a day. So I'm like, oh my God, I've been there 14 hours. I didn't see time go by, and then I just worked every day. That crazy schedule for many years.
Do you remember your first sites, and in many years how changed webcam sites?
My first site was Live Jasmine, which is, I am still there, so about 14 years now. The first year I also tried other ones. Some I did not like, because every time I opened the door, every time someone was coming in the room, I don't even remember the name of the site, but it would do, and every time someone leaves a fridge, I would do, boom, oops, sorry.
It's okay.
And I was like, ugh. And every time it was doing that, like, and you know, there's a lot of traffic in a room, so I was hearing it like 20 times in a 20 seconds. So it was driving me nuts. I'm like, okay, I'm logging off. And I never went back to that site. But I did 1 year or 8 months into my free cam as well, which is a more freemium type of site. And now since a few years, I've been also working simultaneously Live Jasmine and StreamMate as well, which are both premium sites. I prefer working in private on one-on-one with members than working for tips and free chat. And so yeah, there's not that many premium site style anymore.
Yeah.
So in the last few years, it's more and more freemium, and more models also do content and fan sites, which didn't exist back then. So models now do, I'm not super strong onto I don't do fan sites personally. I do some content, but with my private personal site, so not through a clip platform. I don't do much content. I really like the interaction in a live manner.
Yeah.
So that's my special, that's what I prefer to do personally, than filming stuff for myself. Most of my members like to talk with me. It's like a lot of it is not even like playing sexually or anything. A lot of it is
More about
just,
personality.
yeah, it's about a lot of friendship, hours long of talking or having picnics, wine and cheese. And so my clientele, even if I create a lot of content, for me they don't really spend there. They save the money for when I'll be back online. So to me it was, I won't spend too much energy into creating content if I don't sell much of it anyway, because that's not my audience.
Did you try it beyond the studio and European opinion about studios?
I visited studio, but I've always with my academy or as friends, because I've been traveling to Romania and Colombia for many years, like since 2015. But studios is not really a thing in America. So, and I just started.
Because in America it's legal.
I just started out of the blue. I never even spent time. I just saw that girls do that job, and I did not spend more time to see what they do. I just started to turn the cam and do my own thing. And so I don't see myself working for a studio. Once I started from myself. I don't see how I would now use a studio, because I've done everything on my own since so long. But I can see for some people it can be beneficial for them to work in a studio, because like I have to hire for photography, I have to hire for help, and I have to take care of all that by myself. While studios, they have a structure, they give education and trainings and all this. So I think it can save time for models to be successful faster, and they have more of a support around them. Like if as an independent model, you're very in your own bubble, like I don't have other cam model friends around me, so I always it's very solitary.
Tell please, what should know and do models if she want to work at home?
Wait, repeat that, sorry.
What models should know and do if they want to work at home?
You have to be, the challenge I find that models that did work in studio and then went to work on their own, what they often find the most challenging is to have the motivation to go online because they don't have a structure imposed to them. So you have
Discipline.
to impose it to yourself. So you do need to be like dedicated to it, and you do need to have a how to say, like you have to be disciplined to a certain degree, and you have to do the self-discipline. Like no, if you're used to someone tell you what to do and when, and you just follow, then you're more in a passive mode. And so you have to be very proactive. You have to give yourself a schedule, try to stick with it, and even if you don't feel like going online, if you don't, fine, but then don't complain that you might not make the money if you don't have the same professional attitude and discipline that you had with the studio. So you have to find ways to motivate yourself. And
It's a hard way.
Yeah, it's a challenge for a lot of models that are used to a structure and then they don't have it.
You have a photographer, manager. What about Sexter? Do you use it or you do it by yourself?
I do not have a manager. I'm the manager and the boss.
Oh.
But I do outsource. I do hire someone for photography, sometimes to do I used to do all the editing myself of the picture, Photoshop and all this. But now I have someone that I bring on trips with me so he can do videos and then I can he's going to do the editing of the video and so, because of it, he also have a lot of content from when I travel to events. So he can help me sometime also for social media to give me ideas, but I keep hands-on on everything. So I'm still the one that's going to post all my tweets. I'm the
You're
one
still working by yourself.
I still do everything. He's going to help me sometimes to just get new ideas, and he's going to pitch me, we could tweet about that or that, and it helps to save me time or to find. But again, I train him to think like I do, and to use my sense of humor because I have my own specific sense of humor, and I'm like. So it took years to say no. That I don't talk like that. That doesn't work. Like it doesn't sound like me. So it took a while to train the person to understand when I write for written interviews, I write everything, but then I make him do the proofreading to just make sure everything is correct because we all do mistakes anyway. So I have someone that works like that, that helps me out here and there. But all the DMs, all the private messaging, I do all myself. Always. I always did because I'm so, like I said, my audience is really close to me. They can watch me all night long in free chat or they private me and I know all of their job, where they go, if they have kids, what they drink, where they live. So nobody can answer in my behalf and they would know. It would save me time. I could maybe make more money by doing more of texting and all that, but they would know it's not legit. They would know it's not personal from me. So I can't fool them. I cannot do that. I respect my audience, so I do the extra work.
It's a good way. Tell us, please, about your academy and courses, about prices and what we can get.
Well, the prices, it's something that really depends. I don't do, like most other coaches or training, the tendency is to do something that's in general, like good for all. I like to do something that's very more specific. So I call it camology, the art of camming. I focus really on the psychological aspect for the model, but also to understand the psychology of the member as well. And I help the model to find her own style and deal with her challenges, what is difficult for her, because we are all different. We all have different skills, different personality, different things we like, things we don't like. So I help them to make the best of their good skill and really use the best of it. And I help to strengthen their weakness. Like if they're like, you're really great with this, but this, I think we can maybe find a way to make it less hard for you or make you feel more comfortable with that. Oh. So I do very custom training, and due to that, I have different price ranges. It depends how many sessions the person wants and what she wants and like how often. So it's very specific.
Very
for each
personal
individual.
courses.
Yeah. It's very personal. It's like if you go do yoga class or Pilates classes and it's a group class, or you pay extra but you have something individual, like very specific to you. So that's what I do.
What year is the most successful months or period you have in your webcam career? You remember it? I bet you should. All models remember her biggest tip and her biggest months.
I did have my biggest tip that was $21,000
Oh.
and 300. Yeah, 21,300 from one member, and he gave it while I was in free chat, and I didn't do anything. He didn't ask for anything. He's someone that normally just privates me, but I helped him to. We were talking and
Like psychology?
we talk about personal things, but also he was creating. He liked to play games, like role play games and stuff like that. So we were just talking, having a drink, and I'm like, oh, you could do something like that. And then he was doing drawings for characters. He was playing Dungeon and Dragon, and he was the master, and so he was doing designs, and we were talking about it. And then he started to have an idea to do a job, a new project to create an actual game, and he got a partner and they did that, and it was all by talking with me, and he was so thankful that because he was not doing, he had money, but he was not involved into anything as a career anymore, and he was kind of lost the motivation. Talking with me is like, I create a new project, a new job for myself, I owe that to you. So he was so thankful, and he did that amount once. He gave 16,000 something another time. But it was just being thankful, and that was sweet.
You're most famous webcam model, I think. Your name know a lot of people. Can you tell our viewers how much you earn now per month? Like around this?
This job is very unpredictable. You really never know. You have a good week, you have a difficult week, and then you think it's going to be dead. You make much. It's really hard to tell, and there's not really an average. I would say that after COVID, a lot of the industry changed, and there's much more model for not more members, or the members are still there, but they don't have the income that COVID and the war in Ukraine, everything affected a lot the economy worldwide. And so I feel it. I make probably like way less than before. And even after COVID, it kept decreasing. But then out of the blue, there's a moment that you expect it's going to be the same routine, and then it's great days. So you just have to keep going, and you have to adapt with the fact that life is changing and people's behavior of spending has changed as well. So I find it's less lucrative than it used to be. Since COVID, everybody started to do everything online, right? And everybody and their mothers and cousins, they all do it. So it's not as mysterious as it was before. It was more underground, and it was more. So there were less models back then. So I think we were less people sharing the pie, and now we all try to get something in that pie. So I think we all feel the damage. I don't think anybody makes the same money we were doing in 2015.
Yeah, but with COVID, more members too.
Yeah.
Because they all sit at home and nothing to do, and they just webcam side, we are ready.
Yeah. So things were different in 2013 and 2015. I think that was for me kind of the peak in 2016, and then but then COVID kind of started to, affect but that's life. Gotta deal with it.
Have you ever thinking about open your studio?
No, like I said, it's a different culture in America. I don't think it would work. We are very independent, and women in general, and people it's really big to be a self-employee and work for your own self. And how it would work with the mentality is that as soon they would maybe get the idea of how that worked, they would right away do it at their home. I think I don't see how it would actually work. Because everybody have their computer, good internet, camera. It's not something that you need all that structure. And in America, if you look the difference in the type of models, they're also more independent model, but they also work more freestyle of freemium type of website, campsite. And then they also do more content. They do a bit more of everything, while in countries where there are a studio culture, they work more kind of professionally, more concentrated in certain places, and be not all over the place. There's more structure, and I find in a way more professional on certain aspect. Well, the independent models, some of them, I'm amazed. They're multitask, and they have many sites at the same time, and do content, and they run all their thing. I'm like, wow, you're good. I don't even do all that. because again, I specialize in something, so my approach is kind of in the between. Even though I work from home, I have a mentality that's a bit like studio would work, but I'm still independent too. But yeah, I don't see how studios would work in America.
United, it's really different from the like in Europe. Tell us how you combine real life and webcamming, how you mix it. Tell us about your hobby, real life, how you do.
It's at first you think you're gonna really separate both, which I try as much as I can, but you realize, like for me, camming became quickly a lifestyle, and it started to blend together. Like there are people like I do care for my member, and if someone passed away, which happened, someone died, I was devastated. Like it affected me emotionally, and when people have sometimes big issues, it will affect me as a person. So I carry that in my real life, but then I try to separate. If things happen in my real life, I try to not let it affect my professional life. Like when I'm online, if I had a very hard week, I try to leave it there, and like the show goes on.
Just breathe.
You try to. It's like if you're a musician, even if you deal with things, you have a show to do on stage, you still have to do the show. If you're an actor on theater, you still have to do your job. So, but I try to nourish though what I do online with appreciation I have in real life. I do love good music. I love movies. I'm a foodie. I love food and cocktails. So I do bring all these conversation and passions of mine into my camming. So I use that also to decorate my room. I like old-fashioned vintage furniture, so my room is like that. I surround myself with something that represents me, so people, by looking quickly, they already have an idea of what kind of person I must be. And so this is how I kind of blend it. But then I try to keep a zone that is private and for me. Like some people on social media, like they'll be on Facebook sharing their whole life and pictures of family, I don't. Like to me,
You're private.
I keep my private life private. There are some members that saw me for 13 years, like regularly every week kind of thing, and we just talk. They might know a little bit more. I might open on a one person here and there, more personal stuff. But usually it's good to keep a zone that's really yours. And it's because when you're always facing audience and public, you need to keep something that's not public. I think it's good mentally and psychologically to keep that balance.
Oh my gosh, I forgot what I want to ask. Oh, remember. Tell us please about most weird member you have in your career.
I always say what happens in private stays in private, so I don't usually share that.
Let's like this. I had member on my free cam who cut him dick. Oh yeah, it was based come to come, and I saved it, and I just I took for the few minutes. He just started it. I started to cry because I was be shocked. So you have something like this, or maybe less weird than me.
You are not lucky, my dear.
Yeah, I think so too.
No, I had something that I was like, but I cannot share that. I had one, but it was in private also. But it's a story I cannot repeat, again, for privacy reason. I really have high respect for privacy of my members.
It's like my story, I think, something like this. Shitty stuff. 3 rules to be success model.
The
Some,
three?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
3
3
rules.
advices to models.
You have to be positive. Your vibe around you, I think, is contagious. If you have a good energy and look happy, people are attracted to that. So I think this is, no matter what you do, if you have a positive attitude, it attracts people. And it doesn't matter how hot you are, how playful you are or not. I think it's just to be positive in one way or the other. And beside that, like I said before, the discipline. So having patience and being dedicated. It helps greatly if you love what you do. So if you don't love it, ask yourself how you can make it in a way that you can love it. And if you don't, maybe you have to change job, because that you want it or not every job is good for everybody. There are things I would not be good at. Don't put me behind a computer 8 hours a day. I'm gonna go crazy. So I would have trouble finding it fun enough to keep doing a job where I'm sitting 8 hours in a day behind a computer. But that's
Yes.
because my type of personality. But with camming, you have a lot of space to play with. You can really think of the mindset is very important, to have a mindset and to put yourself in a zone or surround yourself. And sometimes, like I said, if something works for another model, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So trying to do what is the success, you can fit the trend, but if you don't naturally feel comfortable with that trend, for me, I stood out by not fitting the trend. I was doing opposite than what everybody were doing. And because of that, to me, it turned out to work well. But at least when I was working, people thought I would fail at first because of my music and this and that. But I'm like, I don't care if I make less money, at least I like what I do. And the people that will visit me come see me because they like what I like. That means we'll be able to enjoy each other better, no matter what we do. And then I don't see time go by because I like my music and my members like me for things I like. And I don't have to fake it. I don't have to fake to like something I don't. And
you're making your team.
Yeah, because that won't last forever. You can do it for a little bit to try to fit in, but if you naturally, organically and deep down at the core, you don't fit that, it's not sustainable. You're never gonna last. You're gonna feel depressed, you're gonna feel stressed, you're gonna be tired, and then it's time to go online, you're gonna resent it, and you're gonna be okay. It's too much work, it's draining. And so you have to find your way, and it's not just about the money. I think you can focus on the money, but think of the real reason why you can, and if you love it, the money will come. And like I said, maybe if you do what that person makes lots of money doing that, if I do that, I would lose all my members because my members don't like that. So
it's the best advice.
You have to keep integrity. Be true to yourself. Your
It's
happiness is the
always
first thing.
people say be yourself, and they think it's like shitty advice. All people say it, but it's best advice always.
Yes, because you cannot ever please everybody, but you have to feel good in your skin first, and then when people feel it's true, it's genuine, it's real, they love that. So, and even if it makes you different than all others, it's good, because otherwise everybody's the same thing. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, and they pay better when it's natural and not fake.
Yeah.
As usual. What are your plans for the future? I will continue coming. I love it.
I always keep my eyes open. I'm the kind that don't go with a schedule, and I just try to always keep creative to create my own project, because if things don't come to me, I normally try to find, okay, I need something new. And that's how I came up with the academy, and then with projects I did with that. I did a survey that was about the industry, or I did deeper than the tip articles, I column on Why Not magazine. So I try to always do something else to not just become stagnant, I would say. But at the same time, I keep my eyes open if there's something I'd like to do, and if something comes to me, I'd take the risks, even if it's something I might never done before. Like I work full time as an executive of community department with a platform, and I'm like, okay, I had to do all these Zoom meetings, and it was all business and doing documents of how to advise them to do this and that, and how to help them to be successful as a platform. So it was a lot of different type of work than when I came, and I was doing both at the same time.
Yep.
So, but I'm like, I'm taking the challenge. Sure, I'm gonna do that. But I had I was working all night, then I could nap 2 hours, then I had meetings, I could nap 3 hours, then I had other meetings, and it was crazy. But I'm like, I was learning by doing that, and I'm not afraid to get out of the comfort zone. And so yeah, I don't have anything planned for my future, but I keep on my.
But you don't stop.
I don't stop. Stop. I keep. I still love what I do, and I still like to think of that things will happen, and we grow as people. So, what I thought I would do like I said, I thought I would not camp more than a week, and I ended up doing. 14 years later, I'm still here. So you never know. Keep your eyes open and mind open for anything.
And the last question: how you see webcam in 10 years?
And then again. Funny, because a few years ago,
still with me.
few years ago, I thought it would be more and more intimate and more increasing the I'd say how interactive we would be, thinking that even with the interactive toy that arrived, I thought, oh, it's to find a way to use the technology to feel closer, even if there's more technology involved. You thought you'd feel closer. Well, it turns out it did kind of the opposite way, because then all the freemium sites start having that toy in public. So you're like,
My gosh.
doing interactive stuff in front of 300 people. I'm like, so you're not interactive personally with any member anymore. So somehow I thought it would have become getting closer, and it turns out it did the opposite. It's like, I do a show in front of 300 people, but how many people you know their name and where they live and what's their job, right? So I thought it was going more and more intimate, and it did the other way. So I cannot risk what it's going to be in 10 years. Actually, I have no clue. I'm curious to see.
Maybe it will be like Sturkin, like
think
fashion.
it will come back
It will
somehow.
come back private, small, for making more
I
money.
think so. I think it would come back a little bit from being so out in public with the influencers and the TikTok and all the fan sites. I think it went back to doing content, which actually is closer to what porn was. And camming became popular, and porn was fading because cam was the thing, was that we're interactive. And now what happened is, like, we go back to
Porn.
where we stole from.
Yeah.
We go back to the porn where it's not interactive that much actually, and it's like, so it might come back to that. I hope it will before, like, I'm too old to cam.
We hope to. Thank you much for the interview.
Thanks to you.
You're very cool. Thank you much.